you see the speech that I've written here, clearly, that I've brought with me. But I'm accepting this, I think. I don't know if the award, I think, is for the Tiger Hunter. And when you see the credits at the end of the movie, they go for a really long time. They go, like, if I had to go through all the names, you would be here for a really long time, and you would miss the dessert bar, and you would hate me. So I won't do that. But there are a few people that I have to mention, because I feel like anything that I have achieved or the movie has achieved have been on the backs of so many people, and there are a few that I'd like to highlight. And the first is that my entire career up to now, and the movie would not exist if it wasn't for my first producer, Nazia Khan, who, when the movie was nothing, it was just me and her, and we were going to functions like this, bothering all of you for money. And even though I got all the limelight, she was the one in the background kind of selflessly making sure that I and the movie had the resources we needed to succeed. And then the movie looks the way it does, which it wasn't that big of a budget movie because of my other producer, Mega Kadakia, who is also here. And if you have ever done, if you ever made an indie movie and tried to make it look like a real movie, it is a feat. And a lot of that, most of that goes to the producer to make it look like that, to make it have the cast that we couldn't afford, and I don't know how she got them, to get us a nationwide distribution deal, which is like unheard of. And that was her. And so thank you for my career, thanks. And then, you know, and if I'm talking about me, I guess I'm supposed to do that a little bit too. You feel like you can't take that much credit. In anything I do that has any type of goodness in it. Behind me, I have a husband who is the enabler of all the good that I do, who is humbly cheering me along on the sidelines, even though he literally saves lives for a living, and he is the one who allows me to do what it is that I do with ease. And then I grew up in a household where I had a mom who worked really hard with my dad to make sure we had the opportunities for me to be here. And when I was in high school making short films for my Spanish class, we weren't shooting things on smartphones. We were shooting things on fancy cameras and expensive editing software that probably took a couple paychecks. And I was able to do that to get here. And she tells me now that, she's like, I don't pray for one Oscar for you. I pray for 2 Oscars. I'm like, thanks. and she instilled in us a spirit of activism that has formed why I do this career and what I do. And then my dad, in everything that I had ever done in my short films, whatever it was, he'd always make sure that even if he thought it was really stupid, and he thought it was really stupid a lot, he would help me make it happen. He'd be like, why do we have to make a rain machine that only blows rain in a certain direction? I'd be like, it's Hollywood, it's not practical, just help me, and he would. And then I have my other family here, my in-laws, who literally are filling an entire table. That shows you their support, you know? And they give me the room and the flexibility to pursue a career that is really unconventional for a South Asian daughter-in-law. And I know it has its challenges, and I'm very grateful to you. Well, the first time they came to my house for the Rishta, my wall was painted bright blue for this cheap commercial that never saw the light of day. And they're a family of doctors, and they're probably like, what is going on here? But, they have embraced me. And then on top of that, and I'll go quick from that, I have 2 brothers who helped me in everything they did. One of them was a story editor on The Tiger Hunter, co-creator of a show that I just sold. He helped me get onto a studio movie that I just got on right now. He's my secret weapon that has helped me in everything right now for no other reason than to help me. I get all the credit, and I just bother him at his house. And then I have a good friend of mine, my best buddy, my old roommate, who has supported me in everything that I ever need in my life, and we have a pact to help each other become better people in this life. What more could you want? And then my community and my cast and my crew. I want to call out the illustrious Iqbal Thiba, who is here. And you'll see he was a trailblazer. He was a trailblazer before I was even on the scene. He's on mainstream television shows like Glee, a Muslim in the industry. That is a huge thing. And so I look at all that thing, and actually first, the other people I'd like to thank is, before I get to my little spiel on Muslims, is for the non-Muslims in the audience. Thank you for being here. There's not that, All these people from the industry, I hope you didn't understand a lot of the comedy of what he was talking about. I was like, are they understanding all that bathroom humor and what's going on there? If not, a little bit too much about Muslim life and what's going on. But really, look at the sort of things that we're highlighting on there. Muslims get excited when we're in a commercial. We're playing commercials all day long, going, we're so excited that we're in that commercial. All the Muslims, their hearts are fluttering, we're happy. And so if you are any part of that, if you're even part of this conversation, to help us just be represented on screen, on sets, behind the scenes, the way they are, the way we should be as regular humans, you are doing a huge thing just by being part of that conversation, and thank you so much. And then, I don't know, I don't really have that much else to say on my own behalf. My dad used to teach me this Urdu couplet that I'm pretty sure I'm going to butcher. And he says it in the sing-songy voice, even though he's a terrible singer. And it's, Allah hagar tawfiq na de, insan ke bas ke kaam nahi. And that's basically, I know, I heard people laughing at my pronunciation. It basically means that if God doesn't give you the ability for success, you can't do nothing. And that's sort of the idea, and that's sort of how I feel about where I've gotten right now. And what I sort of want to mention, I mentioned this was a talk from a few years ago where I talked about our community being risk averse. And I think I put it the wrong way. It's not so much that our community is risk averse, it's that it's time that our community made a big shift. And that is that we have to start understanding that the results of things are left to God. Because it keeps us from being where we need to be. We are in a socio-political climate where all the fields where we need to be a lot farther, we're not getting that far because we are waiting for something to tell us that is a sure shot. And to be honest, Nazia knows this really well. When we were fundraising 3-4 years ago, it was like pulling teeth to get money from the Muslim community. And I always tell filmmakers, you don't have any right to other people's money. But it's symptomatic of a problem that we have in the way we approach things. And that is that we only do things that are sure bets. And people come to me now and they're like, how can I support you? And alhamdulillah, because of the people I mentioned and other things, I sold a TV show recently, I'm working on a studio film. But there needs to be much more than me. And there are a lot of people in fields like politics and entertainment and activism and education where we need to just do things with the hope of reward, with good deeds, good intentions, and leave the results to God. And so that comes in a few things. First is we need to start, and this is something that I'm just starting to learn too, so it's not that I do it so well. But one is that we need to start sticking to our principles enough where even where we think, hey, that's going to keep me from getting ahead in that field, maybe I'll just fudge it a little. We need to stick to our principles and go, I'm going to keep on doing what I do. You know, like right now, I'm honestly not the most talented of the Muslim filmmakers that are out there. All I try to do is I try to work hard, I try to pray, I try to do things with integrity, I try to, bother my brother so he'll help me, and then after that, I leave it to God, right? And somehow it seems, and executives have told me, they're like, sincerity and genuineness will get you a long way, even when sometimes you're not Steven Spielberg. They didn't tell me you're not Steven Spielberg. I'd be like really sad. I'm like, I know that, but don't you tell me that, But it's really like it's people are refreshed when people find a sincere human being of integrity, and it's a time where we stop thinking, hey, that's going to hold us back. I need to sell out a little, and then that also means we have to be okay and encourage your children. It's okay for you to be Muslim. When I was in film school, I used to go hide in the editing room to go pray. But sometimes, a couple times, I had to pray on my set, and they had to stop because I was the director. And then, other times now, I was like, you know what? I'm going to be just as Muslim as random Jewish writers I know. And, sometimes their Jewishness comes into their writing, comes up in conversation. I was like, great, I'm going to do that. That's going to be my mode. And it worked out. Now the TV show that I sold, one of them, an authentic representation of Islam, is part of the rubric of that show because I became more comfortable with that. And it's so much for us to get any farther. Us, our next generation, the kids, we have to be okay, just as okay as everybody else being Muslim. And the third thing, and I'll make this short, I'm not fundraising for myself anymore, is that risk-taking, that idea, that leaving it to God, translates into supporting our younger people in resources, in moral support. Did I say resources? Yes, resources. And so, the reason I'm here right now, I used to do short films that never saw the light of day. Some of them were really dumb. They end up on YouTube. You spend so much time, so much money. And the reason I'm here and able to do that feature film were the generous, kind people who either for good intention, to please God, whatever it was, donated to me back then when there was nothing they could get out of it. I'm here now because of them. That was my med school. And that's how it is for industries like this. That's how it is for things like politics. People run a few times and then they win. And so we need to start putting ourselves out there. And I tell you right now, there is a couple people. There's one girl named Iram Perveen Bilal. She has a website, forbiddensteps.com, where she's raising money for her film. She's already done 2 films. We have a girl named Sahar Jahani, and she is my favorite. She is the all-star of the Muslim community right now in terms of young starting filmmakers. She is what I was a few years ago, but 5 times cooler. Like when I went in to pitch for my TV show, she was in the room. You have to be important to be in the room for one of them. She just got her pilot into the Sundance Episodic Lab. I got rejected from that. It's a big deal. She only needs a few more $1,000s for her project. If she leaves without getting that, it's missing out on an opportunity for us to start practicing what I'm saying here. And so, she's at table 46, by the way, and if you can't find her because it's really dark, I wanted her to stand up. Is she standing up? Stand up. I don't think you can. She's right there. She's down there. She has a headscarf. Find her. I will help you find her. I'll collect the money for her, you know? It's only a few $1,000s, and it's not because she's my best friend. I don't know her, honestly, that well. But these are the people. We need more than me. I know what she can do, and these are the people we need to support. I'll cut it short now. And I just want to thank you all. The things I'm doing now are because of a lot of prayers and support of people who care about me. And I want to thank MPAC because it took me a while to understand, all of what MPAC does. But way back when, 7, 8 years ago, when it wasn't cool, when I would still get emails telling me I'm doing bad things in my life, MPAC recognized me as an emerging artist to watch. MPAC encouraged me. What I think MPAC's contribution has been changing the narrative in our community to say we need to start getting into those fields. And so when you say an award for Voices of Courage and Conscience, they had that 7 or 8 years ago. I heard this is like the 26th? 27th award. I was like, I didn't know, were there even Muslims in the industry back then? There was Iqbal, right? So anyways, thank you, MPAC, for this and the work that you're doing. Thank you for the award. It's very pretty. And thank you, everybody else. And my producer will be happy if I say, we like people who buy the Tiger Hunter DVD much more than the people who watch it on Netflix. Just saying. All right.